So I've watched this twice now, and ideally I wanted to wait until I got my hands on the Blu-ray so I could watch this at home and fast forward, rewind, pause, and really watch this in depth, because there's just so much to digest in this film. It's difficult, to say the least, to actually rate this film, but I think after watching it twice, I don't think my opinions will change about it whatsoever. There are good things and there are bad things. This film is far from perfect, but having said that, it's not a bad film. Before we talk a bit more about it and some of the things that it does, what this is about, it takes off exactly where The Force Awakens left off. Kylo Ren and General Hux are leading the First Order in an all-out assault against Princess Leia and the Resistance for supremacy of the entire galaxy. In the meantime, Rey has travelled to visit Luke Skywalker, who has been living a peaceful and solitary existence on a planet which has been quite difficult to find, to say the least. But of course, with Rey realising that the Force is within her and she seems to have some sort of connection with the Force, she may just become a Jedi. So it's too much to ignore, so she visits Luke in hope for some training and guidance. That is what this movie is about in a nutshell, without giving any spoilers away. Now, character development. There's a lot of new characters we're introduced to, which we never feel a connection to. Character development really sucks in this film. There's really no strong new characters in this. The film definitely didn't do a good job developing any of these new characters. We really don't get any connection. We don't care about these new characters. They appear, they vanish, and that's pretty much it. There really isn't anybody that is particularly noteworthy in this as far as new characters go. A tribute to some of the older characters. Yes, the movie does do a better job in that department, I have to say, but I still think it could have done a hell of a lot better. Kylo Ren, who I actually didn't really like in The Force Awakens, I thought this sort of emo kid who's supposed to be following in the footsteps of Darth Vader just wasn't convincing enough, but he's kind of grown on me in this film, so that's a definite tick in that box. And Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker definitely do awesome jobs in the film as well. Chewbacca isn't in it all that much, but he has some funny moments, so I'll have to give it a tick in that box as well. Now, Snoke, who's the new main villain, I don't know what they were thinking with Snoke, but they really screwed him up completely in this film. I thought, that's my opinion, that's my personal opinion on what happened. You might think that it's an awesome thing. I just think there was this whole build-up with Snoke, and then all of a sudden, there's just so many factors involved that just don't make sense. They don't add up. This all-too-powerful being just ends up disappointing everybody, I felt. But, I'm not going to get into spoilers there. I can't ruin it for everybody in case you haven't watched the film yet. There are attempts at humor here, which The Force Awakens did rather well, but in this film, it just seems like the humor wasn't funny, and they tried to do it at really odd times in the film. I remember a couple scenes, one scene in particular where Finn comes out and he's got this suit on, he's got all these, hoses coming out of him, and the water is, some sort of fluid is squirting all over the floor. One person in the theatre laughed. One damn person started laughing. Mind you, I was in gold class, so there was only about 25 to 30 people in the theatre, but still, out of 30 people, one person found that funny. I didn't find it funny at all, but I could definitely see that they were trying to make that scene humorous. It just didn't work. There was another bit in the film on Luke Skywalker's planet where he finds this creature and starts like milking it. He milks this creature who's got like a saggy, use your imagination, and he milks it and just drinks it, and then looks at Rey, and the creature looks at Rey and is like, hey, what's going on? You want some milk? It was just, where the hell did that come from? What are we even watching here? It was just very unusual, bizarre. I don't know why they included that bit in the film. Subplots. So this film was originally cut to 3 hours, I heard. Then it was cut to just over 2.5 hours. So there was a hell of a lot of footage cut out of this film, and some of the scenes and subplots that they ended up keeping in this film are just very questionable to me. For instance, the main one that sticks out for me is the Finn and Rose relationship, where they have this little subplot, where Finn and Rose go off and do their own thing and go to this planet with a casino and stuff. It's just, I like how they traveled to another planet. The humor in the casino, again, didn't work for me. I just didn't find any of it funny. And the entire subplot with Finn and Rose, it was just there for nothing, I felt. They could have spent that time investing into something else that was really much more important. I think it was all for nothing, and definitely I didn't enjoy it at all. The cinematography and the filming is just beautiful from start to finish. It just looks incredible. It's amazing. It's a beautiful film to look at, definitely visually. Cannot fault it. When they go to the planet where if you step on the ground, it kind of like bleeds like a red dust. That was like sensational. It was really awesome. The effects were incredible. Loved that. The whole thing with Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. Obviously, she passed away just after filming this. I don't think they had to tamper with any imagery in regards to her character. I think she filmed all of her scenes. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she did. It didn't look like anything was CGI or anything like that in terms of the character. I was expecting a certain type of send-off for her in this film. However, it was very disappointing with what happened. Not getting into too many spoilers or anything like that. I'm not saying that she dies. I'm not saying that she lives. I'm not saying anything. I'm not giving anything away. All I'm saying is I was disappointed. At first I thought they did something good, and then I was disappointed with the direction that they went, is all that I'm going to say about that for now. As far as the entire Star Wars saga goes, the originals are and always will be my favorites. This one is better than the prequels. It's not better than The Force Awakens, and it's definitely not better than Rogue One. Rogue One, I think, is definitely the standout out of these new Star Wars films. It's better than the prequels. It's better than Force Awakens. Definitely better than Last Jedi. It comes just after the originals. It was a really sensational must-see flick. But having said that, it is like a side film or a spin-off, you might want to call it. So you can't, I guess you can't really compare it to the originals. It's a different kind of franchise altogether. It's a spin-off, so you can't really compare it to the originals. Either way, if we did, I'd say that the Rogue One comes just after the originals. For me, it was a sensational film. I can't really fault that one. The Last Jedi, good film, but I definitely expected a hell of a lot more. It was a little bit of a letdown, maybe because I just expected so much. I went in there with such high expectations. I really was hoping that it would blow Force Awakens out of the water. It didn't, unfortunately for me, and that is why Bannick13, your creepy uncle here, will rate this movie a 9 out of 13. It's good. It's not a bad film, but it's far from perfect. It has quite a few faults and definitely lacks in character development, as well as some of the subplots that I didn't really think were necessary in this film. I definitely could have focused on something else instead. Having said that, check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't get mad at me if you don't agree. Movies are always a personal preference, and opinions are always going to be mixed. We're here to talk about it and discuss it. And maybe some of us can change each other's minds and open our perceptions to something that we've missed in the past. So it's all good. Your creepy uncle is still your best friend for all eternity. So don't forget to subscribe.